The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything. Here we are in the Gobble Gobble season, and this is Senior Issues, etc. I'm your host, Vita Verdon. Hurry up, get your coffee, get your soda, whatever. Bring a paper and pencil, sit down. This one's for you, sitting out there. You know, I'm the kind of person, I think you've gotten to know me over all these years, I like to talk about subject matter that most people shove underneath the carpet. And our subject matter today is this unspoken word, fibromyalgia. That's a mouthful to say. So we're going to find out what does it mean, what people are getting it. And I have a person here that is well-rounded in the subject, and she not only happens to be one of the volunteers working for Senior Issues, etc., but she is, we're going to find out something else new today. She's what they call a health advocate or a health activist. She's going to tell us what does that mean to be that, and she's an ambassador for the Arthritis Foundation. So I'd like you to sit back and relax and listen to what she has to say because she's got experience in this. So give a warm welcome to Necie Edwards. Necie, God bless you. It's good to have you here on the show. Now, I know them out there. You know, we've gotten to know each other after all these years. And what they, first of all, before they hear anything from your mouth, they want to know something about you.
Okay.
Okay, so tell them a little bit about Necie. They like to know all the personal stuff.
Okay, well, I'm Necie Edwards. I'm married. My husband's name is Jerry Edwards.
And you know what? Right there, that's where we give the smackaroonies right into that camera. Give a big smackaroonie to your husband. Anybody else you'd like to give a smackaroonie to?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. And how long have you been married?
We've been married for 25 years.
25 years. You don't look old enough to be married 25 years. Now, were you born in, where do you live?
I live in Vernon Hills.
Vernon Hills, Illinois, which is about 30 miles northwest of the Chicago area, right?
Yes.
And the northwest side, next to Libertyville. That's where I live, is Libertyville. I like to say it because the show goes into a lot of different areas, and I like people to get in their mind the location. And so where were you born?
I was born and raised in Northwest Indiana.
In Northwest Indiana. So how did you migrate to the Chicago area?
I migrated to the Chicagoland area because I got married.
Oh.
And my husband was already living in the state of Illinois.
Okay.
And of course, this is where we made our home.
Oh, well, that's good. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, well, let's go to the first thing. The first thing we like to get into is what is a health activist? What is that?
A health activist or a health advocate is an individual who helps people advocate for their health. So for example, when you go to the doctor, you may not always know what type of questions to ask your physician. Okay. So a health activist is someone that's going to partner with you, educate you on what you need to know, for example, how to prepare for your physician's office visits, what questions to ask during the visit. If you need information on a particular topic, we also provide research on that topic. It's all about health education.
Health education. All right. Now I know you have a website, and on the graphics they're going to bring your website up. But can you just look into that camera and tell them what your website is, in case there's anybody out there that has some question they'd like to ask about their own health?
Yes, my website is www.necie-edwards.com.
Okay. Now, when did you get interested in becoming this? Was it something in your own life?
Yes, I became interested in advocacy back in the 80s. In those days, you didn't hear a lot about advocacy, but what happened in my life was my father, Lee, was diagnosed with lung cancer. And he was a heavy smoker, and that's how the cancer developed, and then it metastasized to his lungs and to his brain, and he lost his eyesight in the right eye. And after going through that experience, not really knowing, what I know now, I realized that, this is something that people need to know, how to be educated, how to advocate for their loved ones, to make certain that you have the right doctor.
So, in other words, you're telling us your training was you became his advocate.
Yes.
Okay, and then in the process of becoming with this very complicated diseases that he had, you learned and you developed an awareness that it was not only your father, but the general public was ignorant to how to be their own advocate.
That's true.
So you start developing at that point.
Yes, and I realized that a lot of people are too passive, meaning they don't take any action. You just can't sit back. You have to ask questions. Be active and involved in your healthcare.
So now what did you do to start that? Did you set up a website? Did you join a group? How did you start?
How I started was just doing a lot of research on my own. I became a volunteer with the American Cancer Society.
Okay.
Several years later, I was working in the pharmaceutical industry as a medical education specialist, and that really gave me a strong awareness of advocacy because we used to fund medical education grants. So that gave me the opportunity to travel and meet doctors and learn what they're looking for when patients come into the office.
So you went through a educational process
Yes.
of development and had on-the-job training being in the pharmaceutical line.
Yes.
So you were getting it both from the researching in the books and the everyday practicing, everyday working arena.
Yes, and being involved in my father's care.
Being involved in your father's care. So that developed you into high skills.
Yes.
And so did people start responding to this dialogue as you put it out?
Yes, it was very well received. A lot of people had questions on, okay, can you help me with my condition? Where do I start? And I was able to help a lot of people, and that's really how I got started.
Okay, now at that point, did you realize, oh, wow, now I'm a health activist, or did that just come with time?
That just came with time. In the beginning, my focus was my father.
Now, bringing it up to today, I think that the area that we wanted to go into, which we're going to get back to this health advocacy, but how we started the show is that what we want to define is fibromyalgia.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if I know how to spell that even, more or less knowing, what it means. So maybe you could start us off on that. My understanding is you have fibromyalgia.
Yes, I have fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis.
That's a double bubble.
Yes.
Yeah. So when was it diagnosed that you have fibromyalgia? At the same time as the rheumatoid arthritis?
No, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in July of this year.
Okay.
And I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis about the end of August or first part of September.
So this is just a recent diagnosis that happened to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on fibromyalgia, could you give us kind of a definition what that is? Because a lot of people out there really don't know.
Yes, fibromyalgia is widespread pain. It's chronic pain in all 4 quadrants of your body. You can have pain in your neck, your shoulders, your back, your arms, pelvic pain. It's constant chronic pain.
All right. Now, quadrants of the body. I want them to know what that word means.
Different areas of your body. So, for example, when you're diagnosed with fibromyalgia, what they look for is if you've had chronic widespread pain for at least 3 months and have had pain in different trigger points of your body. So there's an exam that the doctors perform by touching on certain regions of your body.
And so then they can tell, and through that diagnosis. Now, what I was talking to you earlier about was, I'd say up to, let's say maybe 15 years ago, that you could go into a doctor and they didn't diagnose fibromyalgia. They didn't even look for it because it wasn't even considered to be
True.
So this is just recent development.
Yes.
So you're in on the pioneering stage on this of getting the word out. And I think what people have to be careful about is if you are having this kind of stress on your body, you have to actually go to a doctor and check out. You can't do a self-diagnosis. Well, we're going to come back to it now because what I have is we're going to go into Vita's Pearls of Wisdom. Now, this is the holiday season, and we're all thinking about gobble, gobble, turkey talk. Now, this is my bent on it, what I'm going to do with my turkey this year. Recently, I like to watch the America Test Kitchen cooking. I like to watch the cooking shows. So recently they had at American Test Kitchen season 4 revisiting Julia Child's roast turkey. I'm talking about turkey. Now, what they did with this turkey that was so much different than a regular turkey, one of the things with turkey is it takes longer for the white meat to cook than the dark meat to cook. And then the white meat, if you just cook it, then it comes out too dry. So what they did on this, and you could go into American Test Kitchen or you can go into Julia Child, disjointed roast turkey, and get the total recipe. I'm just whetting your appetite for it. Is they disjointed the whole turkey and they took the turkey breast and brined it. Brining is you put it in some water with salt in it, and some people put a little bit of sugar in it, and you leave it in there for several hours, but at least 2 to 3 hours. Then after the brining, they take it out, pat it dry, and put it into a large skillet and brown it off, and they roast it at 425 for only 30 minutes, and then take it out and make all your own homemade dressing, and take the dressing and put it at the bottom of a large roasting pan, and then put the pieces of turkey over it, the breast and the legs. Then all the drippings from the turkey will go right into the stuffing and come out a really delicious stuffing. And it takes less than 2 hours, and the breast should be 165 and the legs should go, which cook a lot faster, at 175. But you can go into the library, and this is a Test Kitchen's recipe from Julia Child's. Julia Child's recipe came from 1989, but this is season 14 from American Test Kitchen. Or you can go online. You can go online to go into Julia Child's or the American Test Kitchen, or you can go right to the library and go to the reference desk, and they'll look it up for you. I am not that swift online, but I hold my own. I can do emails and the little things. So I just went into the library, and I got my copy of it. And that's what I'm going to make this year. It sounded so good, and when I saw the show on television, and it just all looked so moist in this dressing looks so wonderful because what it was, instead of it being in the innards, the whole turkey is over it. And what you do is put the dressing that it's not away from the turkey, that you put the dressings under that. Now, I want you to go online and see any one of our shows and go onto the website and see everything that's happening with us and check us out on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. And if you go online, it's Senior Issues, etc., etc.org. And you'll find all the information about me on there, all the information about the crew, and have a great gobble gobble, happy blessed Thanksgiving. Now we're right back to Necie, and we're going to pick up fibromyalgia. Okay, now I think what we were talking about is health activacy, or a health activist. You have to be your own advocate, and actually the breakdown of what is fibromyalgia.
Yes.
Okay, and so now we're at the point where you have been diagnosed with it.
Yes, I have been.
All right, so now what is the procedure that you have found out so far?
Well, thus far, I found out that fibromyalgia, you really have to make lifestyle changes. And what I mean by that is, for example, certain things you used to do, you really can't do anymore, or you need to do them in moderation. Certain exercises, if you were someone that used to do a lot of working out, you may have to adjust that. And I found out that medications.
Well, I just want to stop you right here. Now, your exercises have to change from what
Yes.
you used to do. What could you tell us why the change?
Yes, because with fibromyalgia, you have widespread pain constantly.
Okay.
So you need something that's really more low impact.
A low impact.
Yes.
Do you get that? This is important. Okay.
And low impact can be yoga. I've been doing that.
Uh-huh.
And gentle walking just a little bit at a time, maybe for 20 minutes.
Okay. So you're not talking about like running?
No.
No. Oh, okay. See, that's what I wanted to make clear. So that's one of the lifestyle changes. Okay.
Yes, gentle exercises.
Gentle exercises.
Also, too, certain foods create inflammation in the body. So, for example, sugar is known, too much sugar can create inflammation in the body. Some people may need to be on a gluten-free diet. You just need to be aware of what you're eating.
Uh-huh. Well, I know myself as diabetic, how it affects my health. And sugar is included in so many of our foods.
Yes.
But I don't intentionally eat like cookies or anything sweets or candy or anything like that. So what other foods have changed now for you?
Well, for me, I hardly eat any fast food. I love to cook, so I do a lot of cooking every day at home. Or my husband would help me with that. Because you can't have a lot of fast food, you can't have a lot of processed foods. That's just not healthy for you.
So, in other words, it's more Mediterranean.
Yes.
Like fresh vegetables?
Yes.
Now, as far as the fats are concerned, are we talking about like olive oil or
Yes, I use
cannoli?
I use a lot of olive oil, and as well as coconut oil.
Oh, a coconut oil.
Yes.
Now, I just recently got into that coconut oil. That's supposed to be the most healthy.
Yes.
Okay, and so far, your diet has changed, your exercise has changed.
Yes.
That's the lifestyle change, and your diet has changed.
Yes.
Now, how do you change this upstairs to go along with the new plan?
The new plan requires a lot of prayer and meditation. In addition to the prayer and meditation, healthy thoughts. Think positive.
Always think health.
Yes.
Okay, and now, what is there any medication you could take or?
Yes. I recently started a drug called Humira.
Humira?
And it's a drug that you have to inject. And so I recently learned how to inject the medication. It's injected into the abdomen or the thigh. So I gave myself my first injection last week.
So you inject it like a diabetic. I have to inject myself.
Yes.
So you're injecting that on the daily basis,
No, it's every other week.
every other week.
Yes.
So you really have to be planned out that you remember.
Well, the
these-
company makes it easy, and that's a good thing because they have a program where they will send me via my cell phone text messages, reminders to let me know,
Oh,
hey, you're
that's-
due for your next injection.
Oh, that's so nice. Now, you're in the process of building yourself like a safe care program. I think we're going to have you back periodically to understand how far you've gone in the process.
Okay.
Now, I think that if I'm understanding this correctly, fibromyalgia is at a stage that being a diabetic, diabetes is a disease that is controllable.
Yes.
I go steady to an endocrinologist that keeps me, tells me where I'm off, and he's a no-nonsense doctor. And I don't think that fibromyalgia is at that stage yet where it's totally manageable because they're still learning so many things about it. Don't you think so?
Yes, there currently is no cure for fibromyalgia. And since there is no cure for it, you really need to stay on top of it. Watch your stress level as well.
Your stress level influences it. Isn't that funny that stress influences everything?
Yes.
It influences our disposition, everything.
It's actually, in addition to stress, it can be stress that causes it. It can be having, let's say, for example, you could have surgery. You could have had an automobile accident. Those can be triggers to start it. And fibromyalgia is most commonly diagnosed in women. But there are some men who do have fibromyalgia, but it's primarily diagnosed in women. And it's also known as the invisible disease because it's not something that's going to show up on an x-ray or lab results when they draw your blood.
Oh, so how can they? So it has to be. Oh, that's baffling. So it has to be a doctor that recognizes it?
Yes, usually what happens is that your primary care doctor or your internist or your rheumatologist will diagnose it, and how they diagnose it is they will touch the different areas, regions of your body, and you usually have 11 of the trigger points out of the total of 18 where you have widespread chronic pain. And in addition to the pain, you have memory loss occasionally and difficulty sleeping.
Oh, difficulty sleeping. So what can you do about that?
Well, with the difficulty sleeping, there are medications they prescribe for that, although some people will try other supplements to help with the sleep. And in addition to that, you may also have irritable bowel syndrome.
Irritated bowel syndrome? That's
Yes.
another whole
Yes.
area. And so then do you need another doctor for that, a different specialist for that?
Your primary care doctor can work with you on that. Some may refer you to a gastroenterologist to manage that part of the condition.
And so then in that irritated bowel syndrome, doesn't that affect your diet?
Yes, it does.
And now how does that affect your diet? What foods do you have to eliminate there?
I would say each person is different in terms of how they react to fibromyalgia. And so for me, using myself as an example, with fibromyalgia, there are certain foods I avoid. For example, milk. Anything that has milk in it, I typically will avoid that because that can create feeling of cramping in your abdomen, a gassy feeling, bloating.
So now what do you drink instead of milk?
I may drink coconut milk or rice milk.
Or soy?
Yes. Or pretty much I kind of avoid soy, but usually it's coconut milk, or almond milk is another good resource.
Well, I know the coconut milk is delicious, and so is that almond milk.
Yes.
But the coconut milk is kind of expensive. Although I have seen coconut milk recently at Aldi's, which they are bringing in brands to, like grocery stores with lower prices,
Yes.
which is a good thing. So you really have to pay attention to your diet.
You do.
Do you keep? Are you keeping a journal on all of this?
I have a diary that I keep as well as a pain journal. And it's important that you keep a diary of also what you eat so that you'll know what the triggers are.
Now, what we were talking about is that I was discussing it with you, and you said that most recently you started a support group.
Yes, I have a fibromyalgia support group, and people can reach that group if they're interested via my website.
And how often do you meet?
We're in the process of forming that, but we're going to be meeting once a week.
Once a week.
Yes.
And then would it be, what do you think, it'll be at night or in the daytime so that the audience out here could know?
It will be in the evening time to make it easily and readily available for people.
All right. So now, say somebody says, well, I want to know more about this, and so let's have the website one more time.
It's www.necie-edwards.com.
Okay, now let's say a person, because every person has to go to the doctor. All right, now what would be some of the questions, because the person has to be their own advocate?
Yes.
Now, do you have a few of the questions a person should ask their doctor?
Yes, I do. The one question that you want to ask your doctor is, how did you arrive at this diagnosis that I have fibromyalgia? You also want to ask your physician, what is the treatment recommendation? In addition to the treatment recommendation, you also want to find out what type of lifestyle changes does your physician recommend? What's the frequency of visits that you need to make? Because you need to stay in contact with your physician. That's very important. Mostly important, you need to find out what is your treatment plan.
And in the treatment plan, then I think that they have to find out about the medication. What
Yes.
are the side effects?
That is absolutely correct. And most importantly, once you know what the treatment plan is, follow the treatment plan. If you have any questions or you have some confusion about what the doctor is asking you to do, communication is very important.
Oh, good. Now, this is a question that I ask every guest that comes in here. Now, you have become a advocate for health for people. What is it that you get back? Where's your passion lie? What are you getting back out of it? What's it do for you?
What it's doing for me is spreading awareness of fibromyalgia, because I want to help as many people as I can. Because when I was diagnosed with it, it was a little bit traumatizing, and I didn't really have many resources for help. And I know that other people are experiencing similar things, and I want to make a difference.
All right, now you've heard the word on this, and what we've done is we've opened up the dialogue, and there's not very many shows where you can see this dialogue opened up. Isn't that true?
That's true.
Now you can contact Necie, you can contact me, and it's not that we know everything yet, but we can help you find resources to help you, whatever dilemma that you're in with your help. So we definitely want to hear from you and see the results. Now, you know what time we've come to? You out there sitting on the couch, come on, get up, shake yourself around. When you come to the end of your rope, you tie a knot and you hang on to it. And the reason you do that is because the best is yet to come. And what we want you all to do this week is catch the spirit. God bless you. We love you.